has a birthday. I think October 13th. But anyways, Lorenzo wanted that. Just let me check here. He wanted his birthday shout out. I think on or before that. Where are we here? Yeah, October 13th. That's what it looked like to me. So, all the best to you, Lorenzo. Thank you for your kind support. Very much appreciated. I thank you for tuning in. And all the rest of you as well. Big shout out to you also. So, got some kettle corn. That is very good. Got myself a moose head. Ice cold moose head. Just a beautiful, gorgeous day. Just came back from a nice walk. It was really nice out there. I like this type of popcorn. It's really good. This area where my studio is in the hospital area. It's always very busy around here. I noticed a medevac helicopter was sitting in front of the hospital. I don't know if it just landed or if it's waiting to go or what. But it's just, it's always a real hub of activity in this area. This is the type of popcorn I like to eat when I'm watching TV. I just put one in my mouth. Just let it dissolve. Chickaboo makes really good popcorn for this sweet and salty kettle corn. So does Orville Redenbacher. Linda has a friend. I know I've mentioned this before, who makes her own kettle corn. That's really, really good. It's so much different because it's so much fresher. I know you probably think, well, how can popcorn be fresh? But when you buy popcorn, you pop yourself. You just make, put all the ingredients on, just nice and fresh. Opposed to something that's been, bagged up and sitting on the shelf for weeks or months. Oh. So like I said, I went for a nice walk. Just a beautiful, gorgeous day out there. Just lovely. The whole outside of the condo, each end and the south side, where my unit is, they completely removed all the balconies, all the siding. It just looks so different. Well, it looks like it's either being ripped apart or built, one or the other. I haven't touched the north side yet. This is good popcorn. The other night, I was watching Spin Goody, and the movie was The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I've seen that so many times. First time I saw that was, it came out in '66, I believe. So I was 9 years old, so first time I saw it would have been, like almost 60 years ago. So tasty. I like it one with lots of sugar on it. guessing the crew's gone home. Because it's very quiet around here right now, but sure wasn't earlier. When they're here working, you know it. I bought Linda a rock tumbler for her birthday, like a rock polisher. So she's been using that, having a lot of fun with it. She really likes it. She's a real rock hound. She's been collecting all kinds of rocks. She has some real cool ones too. But even like on our camping trip, she found this couple of weird shaped ones and this sort of thing. But she found this guy online who lives very close by. And he lives out the boonies, him and his wife. And they have a big house. And he's been collecting rocks for, well, he's actually like a rock dealer as well, right? And he really knows his rocks and his gems and his that sort of thing. So anyways, she went to his place to buy some rocks. And the whole entire basement is just all his rocks. Like they're all displayed. He's got drawers opened up, just rocks everywhere. But beautiful rocks like you've probably never seen before. Like they got these crystals on them. Or ones that look like gold, I guess like fool's gold. There's a lot of those. Different types of things, but some of them are just amazing. It's like, where'd you get these? Like wow. And he has them all typed out. His little tags typed out and labeled. Really knows his stuff. Wow, they say interest is the best educator. And he's very interested in rocks. I guess if you were a geologist or something, you might find that quite interesting. But him and his wife have traveled all over. And Linda showed me his website. Man, it's just unbelievable. The amount of rocks that guy has. Wow. Oh, just crazy. I've never seen a collection like that in my whole life. Not that I go in for that sort of thing, but even like in souvenir shops or stores or places like that, I've never seen a collection like that. And I've heard of coin dealers and stamp dealers and people deal in all kinds of stuff, but that's his thing is rocks. So anyways, I got Linda her rock tumbler. She put a batch of rocks on. It's been about 6 or 7 days now. Thing just goes round, round, round. My son had one years ago when he was a little kid. He started losing interest because one of those things you put it on and you have to leave it for like literally a week, And toothbrush and you put it on. A couple hours later, you got polished rocks. Actually, one of Linda's friends thought the same thing. She bought one for her kids or something. And she just set up and she put it back in the box, and that was it, right? Never used it, because nobody was interested in it. Just, they wanted like instant gratification, I guess. But it's going to be very interesting to see what her rocks turn out like, because she's checked them a few times. They're looking really good. She has different kinds in there. I think some rocks are quite interesting, but I just not enough to, like all these crystals and all that, but they've never interested me enough to want to collect them or even own them, I think it's a great hobby if that's what you're into. Very good. Quite tasty. Every once in a while I find one that's just been soaked real good with all the, the sweetness and saltiness on there. I just love it. But getting back to Ghost of Mr. Chicken, I've seen that movie so many times, and it's not so much that's funny. I mean, Don Knotts he was always a character. He always drew a smile from people. Just his presence would make you smile, kind of. I think what it is that I first saw the movie, like I said, when I was a little kid. And I have a lot of sentiment for that sort of thing. A lot of people wouldn't understand why I still watch, like Green Acres or the Beverly Hillbillies and stuff. It's because I watched that when I was a little kid. What's funny now is I didn't get a lot of the gags and all that back then, like I do now, as I'm older. I thought it was interesting. I read an article. It was an interview with David Faustino, who played Bud on the TV sitcom Married with Children. And that was like an 80s, early 90s TV show. Katie Seagal, and very funny. But the Bundy family. But he was saying that he was on that show as a little kid. He was a little kid on that show. And when he grew up and he would watch reruns, he didn't even get the jokes. He didn't get the lines he was reciting. He didn't understand them. He would just recite them. And it wasn't until he was older, he was watching it, that he got a lot of these jokes. He thought, wow, this is kind of risque or kind of racy, like, wow, I can't believe it. I was saying that stuff. He had no idea what he was even saying, right? I guess that would be true. I know as a little kid, I think I mentioned this before, that on the Beverly Hillbillies, Granny had a rheumatism medicine. I thought that was her rheumatism medicine. I didn't know it was moonshine. I just didn't realize as a little kid. That was like a running gag on that show. I remember my dad made moonshine one time. And he lit it on fire. Just put some in a spoon and lit it on fire. Man, that stuff was powerful. Wow. My dad used to make very good wine. Sometimes a little sweet, but it was good. Popcorn is just perfect food for when you're watching a movie or something, you know. It really is. So nice. When I make popcorn at home, I always put lots of butter on it. Well, actually, we use basil, but you know what I mean. Like that. So good. Whoever came up with this idea was a genius. So good. I like digging around the bottom. Got some nice little hard ones. They've just been soaked. Nice and salty and sugary, almost caramelized. I never cared much for Cracker Jacks. To me, Cracker Jacks had that kind of almost like a burnt sugar taste to them, you know. Maybe what I need to do is see if I can find a box, and I'm not sure they still make them. But if they do, I should try them again. Buy a box and try them. the street today, and it was a street that used to have a lot of old houses. I'm sure they're there for like 100 years, old miners' shacks and all that. Now they got a couple of big condo units there. They've torn down the old houses. Some of them are still standing, but a lot of them are gone. And that whole street has really changed, you know. It's really, I mean, it's changed for the better in one sense, because before it was, I don't like to use this word, but it was kind of a bad part of town, you know. A lot of break-ins, a lot of crime, that sort of thing. Cops are down the whole time, but it's changed a lot. There's 3 pubs that used to be there. 2 of them are torn down. And one is still standing, but the one that's still standing has not been a pub for probably over 20 years. I used to go to all of them in my younger days. I had a friend named Bert. I think I mentioned him in my couch surfing video a couple years ago. He would live at these places. He'd go there and shoot pool, and he'd just get to know everybody. That was his lifestyle. He enjoyed that. Hope I don't end up with a bellyache. Sometimes when I'm eating this, I start craving the regular buttered popcorn. When I'm eating the regular buttered popcorn, I start craving this. I used to buy that Chicago mix a lot. Had the caramel corn and the cheese corn. It's very good. I remember, see a small bag in the grocery store, I forget what they charge for it. You know, $5 or something. Go to Costco, you get a great big huge bag for the same price. So I thought I might take Linda down to Victoria. There's a shop called the Rock Hound, I think. So I'll take her down there. you see the name and you might not take it seriously, but it's actually pretty good beer. Dentist kids were down a few weeks ago. They drink what I call girly drinks, but like pre-mixed drinks. Like some of them are just like root beer and booze mixed together, or yikes. Anyways, and the beer they drink is always something really awful. They have this beer, and at least tall, skinny cans. And they left one behind. It was really hot out this one day. And I just got out of the pool, and we were having a little dip in there to cool off. I thought I could have a beer. And I went to get a Corona, and I saw that. I saw that beer at the back of the fridge. And some kind of a light beer. I can't remember what the company was, but so I cracked it open and I took a swig. It was just like the most watery. It was so disappointing. But I will say I kind of quenched my thirst because it was so hot out. I was so thirsty. I find beer can be quite thirst quenching. Pop seems thirst quenching at first, but I find I'm still thirsty after, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, because of the sugar. This is so tasty. I love it. Fantastic. When I'm craving something, it's nice to satisfy that craving. The inside of your cheek. Sometimes I feel like my molars are too big or something. I have these weird dreams when I used to work. And if you're a psychologist, maybe you can analyze this for me. But the gist is the same. I always have the same dreams about work. It's usually at my original place of work, because I worked for the same company for 36 years, but the last 5 years was in a new building. I'm going back to my cooking days, before I was in a supervisor role or anything else. Going back to my cooking days. Breakfast, for instance. I had to get a great big thing of oatmeal, a big pot of oatmeal, and all these eggs and everything on, among other things, and bacon or sausage, whatever. And I always seem to have this dream where I'm having a break, and I come into the kitchen, and it's about 25 after 8, and breakfast is served at 8:30, and I've forgotten to put my water on for my oatmeal. I've forgotten to put the eggs on. I suddenly realize I have no breakfast to serve. So I start running like crazy. Which is really silly. I have that same type of dream a lot. It's like I've forgotten to do anything, and now it's time to serve this meal, and I'm not prepared at all. Then the other dream I have is very similar, where it's lunchtime, lunch, one of the things I had to do, besides all the desserts and prepping all the lunch and all this other stuff, was I had to make a huge amount of soup. I also had to make pureed soup and some low sodium soup and this kind of thing, right? And a non-cream soup and and same thing. I look at the clock. It's 10 minutes to 12. Lunch is being served at 12, and I don't have any pureed soup. All I have is my regular soup. And next thing I'm running around like a madman. I don't know why I have that same dream over and over. It's like I've dreamt so many times I started smoking. And even in that dream, I will acknowledge, I've even dreamt about this, but now I'm actually smoking. Of course, I wake up and I was dreaming. But the gist of that dream is, I started smoking. I think, oh my gosh, will I ever be able to quit again? Because quitting the last time took everything I had. I was successful. I mean, I quit in 87. That's almost 40 years. But I think, do I have enough of what it takes to quit again? Or another part of that dream is, how long can I smoke before I get addicted again? Before I can't quit? It's really silly. Dreams are really weird. Well, that's it. That's my popcorn. That was good. Very good. Oh, yeah. Good old Moose Dad. Yeah, that's a good beer. Wow. Now, there it is, my friends. I'm afraid I'm going to have to love you and leave you. So, anyways, you look after yourselves. You want a shout out? Please, I implore you. If it's a birthday shout out, give me about, if you can, at least 3 weeks notice, 30 days notice. Because of the construction going on in this studio condo, I have to record videos when I can, sometimes 2 a day. I've been recording a lot more car videos lately, and for that reason. So, if you just want an ordinary shout out, I can do that anytime. And if you have a birthday shout out, if you're not particular exactly about, when you get it, if I get it within a week or two, if you're okay with that, that's good. But if you want it, on such a date or whatever, you really need to give me some notice, okay? Okie dokie. Okay, so you look after yourselves, look after each other, stay amazing in the land of awesome, and we'll see you next time, okay? Take care of yourselves, my friends, okay? Bye-bye now.